Hari Om. Let's start with a prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are analyzing the Vijnanamaya Kosha and completed in the last talk. Essentially, we went through from Annamaya Kosha, and I am not Annamaya Kosha, I identify the Pranamaya Kosha, and the Pranamaya Kosha I am not, and Manomaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha to Vijnanamaya Kosha, that is intellectual sheath. Now we are looking at the last Kosha, which is Anandamaya Kosha. It is Kosha which is Anandamayam, that means it is completely filled with Ananda. Now we will analyze, and there is a Sloka 209 from the Viveka Chudamani, and it's a very long sloka. It says Ananda Pratibimba Chumbita Tanu Ruttistamo Jrumbita Syadanandamaya Priyadi Gunikaha Sweshtartha Labodhayaha Punyasyanubhave Vibhati Krutinam Anandarupaha Swayam Bhutva Nandati Yatra Sadhutano Brahmatra Prayatnam Bina. This is called Sardula Vikritan. Gurugura Bose. So Ananda Pratibimba Chumbita Tanuhu Ruttistamo Jrumbita Syadanandamayaha Priyadi Gunikaha Sweshtartha Labodhayaha Punyasyanubhave Vibhati Krutinam Anandarupaha Swayam Bhutva Nandati Yatra Sadhutano Brahmatraha Prayatnam Bina. So here, what is Anandamaya Kosha? Just as the Annamaya Kosha and the Pranamaya Kosha pervades the Annamaya Kosha, and then Vijnanamaya Kosha which pervades the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya and the Annamaya Kosha. So each Kosha of higher pervades all the lower. And now we are talking about Anandamaya Kosha. It pervades all the previous ones. That is, it pervades the Anandamaya Kosha and the Manomaya Kosha, Vijnana, the Pranamaya Kosha and Annamaya Kosha. Therefore, Ananda Pratibimba Chumbita Tanuhu. So it is also a reflected, instead of consciousness, so consciousness and I am conscious of, now it is Ananda aspect of it is getting reflected. So you have to understand here what is the reflection here. It is one Satchidananda looking from three different angles. It is, we call it Sat, or we call it a Chit, and we call it Ananda. From the point of existent point, it is not a non-existent entity, it's not a Sunyam, so we call it a Sat. So with reference to all existing, it is also an existing entity, but it is pure existence with any name and form or qualities or limitations, and therefore it is called Sat Swarupam, called Swarupa knowledge. It is intrinsic nature itself is pure existence, and when the pure consciousness Brahman is reflection depends on the medium of reflection. Therefore, depending on the medium, the reflection occurs, even though it has three, as though quote unquote components. One is the existent part, another is the conscious part, another is the Ananda part. Only that part, depending upon the medium of the medium of reflection, only reflects. It's like the light has 7 colors, but depending on the medium, only that part of the light gets reflected. All other parts can get the transmitted or absorbed. So if it is a transparent the object, all 7 colors go through, nothing is reflected. That's why I can see through. Whereas if there is any colored object, which is essentially, if it is a red color or if it's a white object is that all 7 colors get reflected, therefore I see a white color only, because all 7 colors together becomes a white color. So if it is a red object, then all other colors except red is absorbed, only I see red reflected. So reflected color only I can see through my eyes, not the absorbed colors. And the same way, depending upon the medium of reflection of this Sat Chit Ananda aspects of the Brahman, that part is getting reflected depending upon the medium of reflection. So in the case of inert objects where there is no subtle body, only the gross body is there, neither the consciousness nor the Ananda gets reflected. What is reflected is only the existent part. And how do you say? Because you say it is existing, the objects are existing. I cannot see non-existent objects. So every object that I can see has to be existing. You cannot see Gaga Bobu because I don't know what it is either. So therefore, non-existent objects, and some are logically non-existent, like Vanja Putraha, son of a barren woman, they cannot exist at any time, any place, and those are non-existent entity, therefore no perception. So whenever I see an object, I can only see an existent part of it coming out, and other things are not. Therefore I say, how come pure consciousness is all pervading, why is not expressing? So expression or expressibility doesn't depend upon the consciousness. From the consciousness point, there is no reflection, there is no object even. So that has to be very clear. From Satchidananda, from Brahman point, there is not even a creation. So all we are talking about at the transactional level only, and therefore Jnanam, Ajnanam, everything is at transactional level. Self-realization is also at the transactional level only. Jivan Mukta is also at the transactional. So-called moksha is also at the transactional level for the one who recognizes that I am pure Satchidananda. All that has to be crystal clear. That's called Samyak Jnanam. Therefore, in the case of inert objects, only existent part is reflected. In the case of living objects, where there is a subtle body, not only the existent part, but the consciousness also gets reflected depending upon how pure the mind is. Because reflection occurs at the intellectual level. If the mind is not pure, only the partial reflection occurs. We say he is a tamasic fellow, he is very dull because his mind is still in the tamoguna. So reflection of Rajas and the Sattva is not there, only Tamoguna is expressed as a part of the Buddhi. So therefore, reflection depends on the reflecting medium. Therefore, whenever the subtle body is there, only the Sat part and the Chit part is getting reflected, and even the Chit part only to the degree depending upon the purity. Now, Ananda part is also gets reflected when the mind becomes a calm and quiet. In those moments, Ananda also gets reflected. When the mind is agitated, Ananda cannot get reflected. So even though Anandam is Brahman, that means all-pervading, pure Brahman, the reflection cannot occur in all instruments, and even in any instrument, reflection can occur. Now it has to exist, and it has to have a subtle body, and even that subtle body has to be calm and quiet. This is very important because I am Anandamaya Kosha is coming into the picture by the reflection of the pure Brahman only. So whatever happiness that one experiences is not the happiness of that. It's not a bliss. It says in the deep sleep state I am in the bliss. No, it is only reflected Ananda only. Oh, in the moments of this one I saw I was in that ecstatic state, or in the moments meditation I am in that state. No, it is a reflected consciousness or reflected Ananda only. And therefore here it says Tanuhu, because if it is a pure consciousness, that is I understood, it's not a reflection, it is a Swarupa Ananda, then once I have the knowledge of that, there is no more ignorance, there is no more I want to gain that happiness. That means that whatever I gained is not really happiness. So all that has to be crystal clear here. It says Ananda Pratibimba Chumbita Tanuhu. So Tanuhu is essentially, here it is the body. Body is here, it's a Karana Sarira. So the reflection occurring as though in the Karana Sarira, causal body, that is the ignorance part, is what is getting reflected here. So Ananda Pratibimba Chumbanam, that means it is direct modified by the instrument. So the reflection is also distorted reflection depending upon the medium of reflection. So that's why when the light passes through a prism of the three you have, then it splits into many. That's called, you get the spectrum of the light. Same way it splits depending upon the medium of reflection. And in this case, this is Vrittis Tamo Jrumbita. So Tanuhu, that body is nothing but it is Avidya Vritti, is reflecting, even though the Buddhi is intellect is there, it is depending upon the nature of the Buddhi. The Buddhi, which is a product of Avidya, and also has the Avidya of not knowing who I am, that Mula Avidya is also there in the Buddhi, and in that Buddhi the reflection occurs depending upon the medium of reflection or how pure the Buddhi is. So Syat Anandamayaha, and therefore the reflection depends upon the Buddhi, and therefore it says there is a gradation depending on the purity of the Buddhi. So here Priya Adi Gunikaha, Priya and Moda and Pramoda, these are at least three the distinct quality, the stages have been defined in the Taittiriya Upanishad, and there it says the Moda, the Priya, Moda and Pramoda are higher degrees of the Ananda that one gets. In fact, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is a description of Ananda, and it says the one young person who owns the whole universe, not just piece of land, he owns the whole universe, and he in fact his Ananda is one unit. And in that scale, the next level Gandharva and then Devas, each level as you go, and their Ananda is 100 folds the Ananda of this one unit that we define. And ultimately when you go to the Brahmaji Hiranyagarbha, his Ananda is the 10 to the power of 26 times the Ananda of an individual. But all that Ananda is due to the reflection Ananda only, not the Anandas, the bliss that is pure Satchidanandam, that is Swarupam, not the reflected consciousness. Swarupam is, I am looking at the face and I need a mirror and looking at the image there. The image is only image of myself, but not the real. So original face is pure as Swarupam, and the image is there as long as the mirror is there. Wherever the mirror is there and in front of I stand, there is always a reflection that occurs. Wherever there is the subtle body is there, there is a reflection through the Buddhi, and Buddhi through the Buddhi, all koshas. All that is implied. So Syadananda Maya Priyadi Gunikaha Sweshthartha Labhodayaha. So this Anandamaya occurring, since the kosha pervades all other previous koshas, as we said, same way Anandamaya kosha pervades all the other koshas, Vijnanamaya kosha, Manomaya kosha, Pranamaya kosha, Annamaya kosha. And when it's pervading, how does it express itself? It expresses in Sweshthartha Labhodayaha, when Ishta Artham, when I wanted something, a desire, when the desire is fulfilled and the mind becomes now clear for the reflection to become evident. Even though otherwise the reflection is there, it's not clearly seen or felt by the mind. Therefore, when the mind is clear, and it becomes clear when there is no more longing mind, no more agitated mind, and that happens when my desire or longing mind is satisfied temporarily by the sense object or the object I desire. It can be other knowledge also. When I'm longing for chemistry knowledge, when I get chemistry, I'm happy. So when I say I'm happy now, the happiness that I'm getting is only reflected happiness, because in those moments the mind is no more longing, no more desiring. That means it is calm and quiet, and therefore the reflection becomes clear. Therefore the happiness that I get out of it is clear. If the intensity of the desire is very intense, and when I get that, my mind becomes completely calm and quiet, and I enjoy the tranquility of the mind by the reflected happiness. Only problem is, because of the avidya, because of the ignorance is still there, I attribute the ananda to what? To the object that because of which my mind has become quiet. So ananda is there out on the object, so I go after one of the object, and the same object doesn't give me same happiness next time, because it is only fulfilling at that time. My intensity desire for that object is fulfilled, then I want another object. So that's why rat race starts coming in. Why? Because I am getting happiness from each object that I am. And if the mind is so restless that I am all the time in the rat race, then I will never be happy, because I am only running after happiness only. So here, the one who is satisfied by whatever he has, a contented mind, therefore his non-longing mind, he is always happy to the degree that his mind is contented. So punyasyanubhave vibhati krutinam ananda rupa swayam. So this, whenever I am happy with whatever I have, that is due to the ananda that I am getting, or the contentment that I am getting because of my punyam. That means because of the merits of the past. That means I do not have the vasanas of that. My mind has become quietened because of the lack of vasanas. Vasanas are neutralized because of the punya phalam also. Therefore, in a way, wherever I am happy with whatever that I am getting, and all that is due to punyam only. Some people are born in a particular conducive family where they have enough everything to gain also. So they have enough wealth to buy what they want. So that's because of punyam only. And a king become a pauper become a king. All that is possible only because of punya papa. So nothing in this world occurs unnecessarily. Even though you may say, I am unnecessarily suffering because of somebody else. Nobody suffers as far as Vedanta is concerned. Nobody suffers because of something else. They suffer only because of the past karmas that has to be experienced, and therefore any prayer that I do will not really help. If I go to a temple and I spend hours there, why? Because I have so many desires, list is there. Not that I am bhakta, not that I want the Lord, I want only this list to be satisfied. So God is only a means to get something other than the God. It means to get what I want. And whenever I get what I want, then I say, yes, God is great. Why? I am getting what all things I want. So I love not God, but I love all the objects that I desire. And when it comes, I say God is great. When it doesn't come, it says God is cruel, and He is only blessing those who are wicked people, and good people like me are not blessing. All that confusive knowledge is only because I don't understand what is God and what is punyam and why I am suffering also. That doesn't mean that prayer is not useless. I should pray, and the correct prayer is Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kakshit dukkha bhat bhave. Prayer for the benefit of the totality, that becomes a loka kalyanam, that in fact becomes a punyam also. So even though I cannot contribute to the society anymore, at least I can sit and pray, let everybody be happy. And that itself is essentially a prayer. In that way, my mind has become quiet and calm, and I am contented with what it is. I am one with the universe. And this is punyasya anubhave vibhati krutina ananda rupa swayam bhutva nandati yatra sadhutanu brunmatra prayatnam vina. So essentially, all this effortless happiness that I am getting, prayatnam vina, is due to the punya papa of that. So if I want to be happy without anything, is only because of the punyam that I have done. But punyam and papam is limited because depending upon how much credit I have. If I have even to go to heavens also, is only to get a better happiness there because the better facilities are there, and I try to get happiness there depending upon how much credit is there. So when I leave with all the punyam, the gods will say, come sir, please welcome, please welcome. That's how Upanishad describes. Come, please come, please come. And once I get comfortable there, and once my credit is over, I will be pushed out because I don't want to leave that place. So, Chine Punye Martyulokam Vishanti. That's what in the Gita says. When the punyam is gone, you don't want to leave that place, but you're pushed out of the place because you don't have any more account balance there. And that's essentially whatever the accounts you have, only you enjoy. But you don't want to enjoy, but you want to account to give something else, but I want only the Vedantic knowledge that punyam itself helps you in gaining a proper teacher and all that. That punyam is a little bit different from that. It is nishkama karma. That kind of purity is there, then that helps in terms of the gaining a proper teacher to guide me in terms of Vedanta. So we'll go into the more analysis of the Anandamaya Kosha in the next talk. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Savaja? Illa. Okay. நான் ப்ரேயர் பண்ணிடலாமா? ப்ரேயர் பண்ண சார்.